Dreamer. Now, if you've watched this, you've either been interested in dream stuff or you've grabbed my human base and you're looking how to use it. Um, this is the complete edition. It's not a deluxe or anything like that, as I'm obviously still going to work on it, but as it stands right now, it's done to the point where it's usable. Um, the only thing you will have to add is obviously hair. Um, I am not planning on adding hair at any point for release. I might release hair you can place on it, but I don't want people downloading and just plonking it in and you go, oh, there, it's done. I want people to download it, use it, and go, okay, make it their own. So it's just a quick user guide on how to use the puppet. Off the bat, you can see there's the puppet. There's its bars. If I possess the puppet, as long as the puppet is possessed, the white bar will move. That is your energy bar. When you depossess the puppet, which is with triangle, the energy bar will stop moving. It will not go back down, but it will stop moving. To stop the bar from depleting, you press circle to relax or sit. That will replenish the energy. Now that's the energy. The blue bar next to it is the stamina. When you're walking, it's fine. Nothing happens. The stamina will affect the energy bar. So when you run with the left shoulder button or L1, the blue bar will go down and the white bar will go down faster. So running will cause stamina to drain. Stamina draining will also cause the puppet to sweat, as you can see the glossiness. When you're running, it glosses over. When you max out, when you deplete the stamina, your puppet will get puffed, and you can only do a standard jump, you can't do a double jump, and you can only do a walk, you can't do a run. The health bar, I don't think I need to explain the health bar. When the puppet gets hurt, the health bar goes down. It has a UV setting, so that umbrella, which does come with the puppet, if you look at the H, S, and E, they're slowly getting darker. That is the amount of UV. The darker the H, S, and V are, the more UV you've received, and that is how much tan your puppet will get. As you can see, the puppet is tanning. If I relax, regen that. So when there is nothing above your head, directly above the puppet, that is labeled as anything except for friend. So something, for example, if you get a piece of ground, label it as scenery or something like that, or object, and that placed above the puppet's head, directly above it, will cause it to lose its tan. When it's out in the sun, it will gain tan, or sunburn, whatever you call it. I haven't given that a bar because I don't think it's that important to know, because it doesn't affect the puppet. It affects what it looks like, but that's about it. The energy has two modes, fatal and non-fatal. By default, it's on fatal. That means when your energy runs out, the puppet is killed, so you respawn. If you go into the options, you can turn it to non-fatal. When you are then out of energy, your puppet will just go automatically into rest mode. So there's the two modes. The right shoulder button, when pressed, allows you to double jump. The left and right triggers do nothing, so therefore you do whatever you like. X or cross is you jump. Square is use, and it uses a tag of use. So if you've got a door or an object you wish to be activated when the puppet does use, put a detection in it and detect the tag of U's. Capital U, S-E, lowercase. As you can see how dark the puppet gotten. I will quickly show you how you can adjust all that. How fast the puppet will tan. How quickly your health will go, stamina will go down. How quickly your energy will go down. I'll give you a quick little rundown on how that works. Touchpad obviously brings up the help. It's a brief description of what the puppet does. That's pretty much all I can really... oh yeah, triangle is for eject, circle is rest, square is used, and X is jump, or cross is jump. The directional pad obviously changes the direction of the look. That's with the eyes, but it's got the eyes on it. So if I now go into the edit mode, and I'll bring up the puppet's chip just to show you how it all works. Okay. So if you wish to edit the puppet in any way, like to make it have more mouth shapes, come into it, go to show all. It has a template there because the mouth is a separate piece of the head. Like if I bring it up here, you can see the glowing bits are a separate sculpt. They are that sculpt with different mouth shapes. One's exactly that with no one, and one's with open. And as you talk, it just toggles between the two, and the open one is shown. That's how the mouth opens when you talk. It is wired up through your mic, so if you're using it and you want to speak through the mic, the puppet's mouth will move. The chips are relatively well organized. We've got mouth. So when the puppet is possessed, that turns that on, which allows it to talk. As you can see when I'm speaking, that is toggling. So if you want to add extra shapes, I've shown it before how you can do it. Add more greater than and less than and along the bottom. At the moment, it's just greater than 0. So any noise that comes through the mic, the mouth will open. If you want to add more, just add more of the greater thans and less thans down here, and have it toggle to your chip, to your sculpt. That's how that works. Now the suntan one, or the tan one, this one here is fairly simple as well. It has a detection directly above it, that height. If you want to make it tall, more, go up there, less, bring it down, whatever. It's up to you. But that's how you adjust where it detects if there is shade. And the shade is detected by an object with the tag. And it is detecting... it should detect anything above it except for friend. So if it's a foe, scenery, object, machine, weapon, missile, target, or unlabeled, it should detect it. Again, I haven't done any testing in other worlds yet and all that, but the little bit of testing I've done in my own tests on my test character, it seems to work fine. If you find any bugs, let me know. That is the help thing, so if you don't want that be there anymore, just come in and turn that off. That will get rid of that. It literally just contains a toggle so that it can either be that or that displayed, and that there just fades that so it's not in your face. That's your stamina. Quick rundown on the stamina. These two here, there are the how quickly it will deteriorate and regen. Okay, yeah. So that's the deteriorate and regen, and that is the maximum amount of stamina used. If you want your puppet to have more stamina, you need to turn that number up. If you want it to have less stamina, you turn that number down. And it's pretty much exactly the same for the energy. The only difference is the energy has an extra little section in it that if this one is getting activated, then it will increase the speed of the burn. That's why if you look, is it that one? Uh, I think it's that one right there. Is the, let me just double check it. If I open it up, that's not that one. Ah, that's just in the run switch, okay. On the run, which allows the puppet to run, it also, as you see, it decreases the burn from 1 second to 0.7 seconds. So that will increase the burn of energy while you're running. So if you don't want it to do that, all you have to do is go into there, grab that chip, edit that chip, and then make it so that that doesn't change. That is how you would adjust that. So that is those three functions there now cleared out. That the rest of the functions are fairly, don't need to worry about them. The hands, they will go to a fist when the puppet is running it. The slower the run, the less fist it'll be. The eyes and stuff are in the head, which if you go to there, are in that chip there, but you don't have to touch any of that. It's got auto blink, so it blinks randomly, and the D-pad moves the look left, right, up and down. Now, the options, which is the part that most users will use. This is the options chip. If I just line it up nice, okay. Now people are going to look at this, oh my god, there's so much switches and stuff like that. I'm going to go through them all right now. Auto jump. Turning that on means when your puppet detects something in front of it, it will automatically jump up a little lip. It's switched off by default because it annoys the living hell out of me. Auto look is it looking at your imp, or if you're possessing another puppet, it will look at that puppet. Turning that off will have it look straight ahead. It will not look at your imp. Now, the imp W possession, that means while your imp is possessing the puppet, can it be outside the puppet as well? So if I turn it on, go back to live mode, possess it, as you see my imp is still outside, but I am possessing the puppet. So that is what that does. Come back in. It's off by default because it's less confusing. There's your fatal switch. You're turning that off means when your puppet runs out of energy, it just goes to rest mode. If it is turned on, your puppet is killed and you respawn. And currently its respawn location is under the umbrella. So that's what that switch does. It is on by default because it's more realistic. Female, that toggles the breasts. At this current state, it does not toggle the top, it just toggles the breasts. So if I do that and look up at shirt, those breasts there will oh, it's on show all, isn't it? Let me just get rid of that for you. As you can see now, there is no breasts up there. I have not done the top. If you wish to make the top still fit, there is a handful of circles, spheres, just delete them and it'll fit like a male top. It's meant to be like a swimsuit or a exercise suit. Okay, and then we'll go down. We've got the pants, which obviously remove the pants, and the top, which obviously removes the top. So if you click on them, it removes them. So, for example, if you remove the top, remove the top, and you can see here if I do like that. It is female at the moment, so it's got the breast with the nipple covers. There are no anatomy, so you don't have to worry about it. And if you turn female off, it's got no top. The reason for me not redoing the top is because you can just turn the top off if you're having it a male. It's that simple. The switch here, it does nothing. It is a spare switch that was going to be used. It has not been used. As we go down, we've got all these switches here. We've got bend, which is how flexible the puppet is, walk speed, run speed, jump height, and double jump height. As you see, that and that currently are turned off at 0 because I'm not possessing the puppet running or double jumping. When you pull the left shoulder button, the run turns on and goes to the speed you've set it to. And when you press the right shoulder button, the double jump does it. The camera height adjusts how high the camera is when you're in possession. So if you possess it, the height the camera is from the ground is what that setting does. So if you come into it and change it, so for example, you turn it right down like that, the camera will then be a lower camera. So when you're possessing it, the camera will sit lower. As you see, I'm sitting closer to like the lower chest area, whereas by default, you sit closer to the just above the head. The camera zoom is how close you're looking to the puppet. So at a 0, you'll be nice and close to the puppet, as you can see. I better possess it so you can see the exact zoom. There you go. And then if you zoom out by moving it up, it will be zoomed out so you can see more of the puppet and more of the scenery. Let's rewind you. Turn those back on. Okay, let's turn that back on so you can, nope, wrong one. That back on so you can see them. So that's the camera. And now these ones here are your skin options. How wet the skin is, how waxy the skin is, how much glow the skin has, and how tanned it is. So the UV option just slowly adjusts the tan. If you want to manually adjust your puppet's thing, turn the UV off and just use the slider to adjust your puppet's tan. And to turn off the functions, just get, for example, if you want it to be the UV, just go to the UV one, left shoulder and square, and turn the chip off. That should be enough to deactivate that option. So now when you adjust this, it adjusts the tan, but when you walk out of the shade, it will not get a tan. So that's how you turn them on and off. I haven't given them switches because that's easy enough to do. And the last little section down here, stamina, energy, and UV. If you want to disable without going in and turning them off through there, if you do that, it will now disable its functionality in the counter. So it's not going to tan now, but the tan option is still there. I have not tested them thoroughly. I gave them quick tests, but from my tests it seems to be working fine. So if you do not want the puppet to get a tan, just flick that switch off. If you do not want to use stamina when you run, come in here and turn the stamina off. If you don't want to use energy, just turn the energy off. These only turn off the actual overall. It doesn't turn the functionality off, so it's still functioning. If I come into it and show you, these timers are still running. It's still detecting the stuff that's above and everything like that. Turning that off, all that does is turns off the ability for the amount of tan you've got to be shown. So that's all that does. Same with the stamina. It just stops. If I go to your stamina, it just stops. Where are we? Stamina off. It just stops the ability to send the signal through saying how much stamina you've got and used. That's all it does. So that's a quick rundown on how to use the puppet. Now, the way it's made, it's pretty minimalist in its sculpts. I've tried to make it fairly easy to edit. The only bit that you may have difficulty with is how do you adjust it, like make it a fatter puppet or a skinnier puppet or a taller puppet and stuff like that. I'm going to do a stream sooner or later explaining an easy way to change how tall or short, how give it wider hips, wider shoulders and stuff like that relatively easy. It is never easy, but there's an easier way and there's a harder way. So yeah. Again, chat is turned off. This is just a description on how to use the puppet. So yeah, that is it. I'm going to call it here. If you use the puppet and this helps you use the puppet, then you're welcome. If not, throw me a message, say I'm stuck, how do you do this in it? And I'll give you a hand. Okay, well I'm out of here guys. You stay safe and I'll catch you next time.